Okay, well, thank you. We're here to give the annual report for the Sustainable Environment Commission. This is my first year serving as the staff liaison for the Sustainable Environment Commission, and it's been a lot of fun. It's something that I've been really excited to get involved in. Steve and his commission have done such an amazing job. As you'll recall, we recently organized our environmental services group, and that group has been, having the Sustainable Environment group there to work with our environmental services group has been great. It's just been a natural synergy between city staff and between a citizen commission. And I think it's really captured what the spirit of these commissions, what it's supposed to be, is really getting input from the citizenry through the commission and then trying to effectuate change with city staff participating with the Citizen Commission. So it's been a great experience for me. I think there's been some really good ideas. We've laid the foundation to do some great work and cooperated well with the Commission. So with that, I'm going to let the Chairman of the Commission, Steve McGeehan, give the report.
Thank you, Tyler.
Welcome, Steve.
I'm going to press go. This one.
There's your forward,
Okay,
backward,
great.
and that's the laser if you need it.
All right. Well, good evening, members of the council and Mayor Lambert. Thank you for having me here tonight. As Tyler said, I'm here to provide an update on the activities of the Sustainable Environment Commission. We're a bit late. I think we did it in June of 2015, and it took a while to get back on your busy schedule. So I do appreciate you taking some time tonight. I want to start off with the mission statement. It's a bit wordy, but the mission as tasked to us by the mayor and council is to solicit advice and information for sound environmental management practices, promoting the health and safety of the citizens of Moscow. Really, we take our charge in two directions, one from the council and the mayor. When asked to carry out a specific task, we do so. And many times we have questions and concerns that come from the citizens themselves. Of course, it's open meetings at all of our commissions, and so people show up with ideas that we then discuss and research as necessary. So what I want to do is go through just a couple of examples of some of the things we've done. One, we are very strong believers in public outreach, and that takes the form, at least in one respect, of some films that we co-sponsor. The two we did in 2015, 2016. Last Call at the Oasis was an excellent film on the world's water shortage. Living in the West as we do, we certainly are aware of it, and it's a global issue. And so showing this at the Kenworthy and sponsorship with the UI Sustainability Center as well as the co-op film series, it's been a great way to get the word out on that, as well as Plastic Paradise, dealing with the plastic bag issue. And plastic bags was something that came up quite a bit at some of our meetings. So these were two very pertinent, relevant, and timely films shown to the citizens of Moscow. The setting at the Kenworthy is excellent. We usually have a question and answer period. We get a lot of people showing up that wouldn't come to a commission meeting, but they want to come for the specific film. So a great way to get the word out. Hopefully this is going. There we go. We also believe in collaborating with other commissions, and in particular, this year the Tree Commission paid a visit. Mary Jo Hamilton came and made a presentation about the iTree design, and I'm sure you've had a presentation here at least at some point on this. It's an excellent software program that evaluates the significance of urban trees. Very, very important concept. Some of the things we took away from this as a Sustainable Environment Commission, the importance of trees for energy savings, shade, and things like that, as well as carbon sequestration. Carbon budgeting is a huge issue these days. And thirdly, something that will be coming up for the city of Moscow, and we hope sooner rather than later, will be stormwater management, stormwater plans, and of course trees play a very important role in stormwater abatement. So a very important meeting, and as I looked at this, I realized we really haven't gotten back and brought this up again. So it's something I need to put on an agenda, because the trees and urban landscape are certainly important. As I mentioned, we respond to citizen questions and concerns. One of the big ones, pesticides. And every year, the commission reviews the city streets as well as Parks and Rec pesticide plans. This is a list of the pesticides used on city streets. We review them, and when it's necessary, we try to bring in an expert from the university to discuss the significance. And in years past, there was at least one compound on this list that was found to be unnecessary. It was extremely toxic, extremely resistant to breakdown, and found to be unnecessary. We recommended that it was be taken off the list because there were viable alternatives, and that happened. So it was a good example. It's always important to review these lists and update and revise as necessary when there's a realistic alternative. In addition to reviewing the pesticide lists, we spent a fair amount of time discussing pollinators and the significance of a new class of pesticides, neonicotinoids, or neonics, as a lot of people call them, because they can't say neonicotinoid. Very, very important. I've been in the news quite a bit for their impact on pollinators, particularly bees, and not much, I guess, is happening as far as changing anything, but I think it's important that these topics stay on our list. I do appreciate that the city streets, as well as Parks and Rec, is transparent and willing to come and make presentations and discuss the use of these things. Turns out that neonics are not being used by city streets. They are being used, at least one compound, by Parks and Rec, but they're being used according to the label, and everything's following the proper pesticide use plan. So at this point, it's just really more of a public education effort. That was made at the Sustainability Fair at the Farmers Market this spring. And so really just an example of we collected some information in response to a question by a citizen. We'll continue to try and collect information, put information on the website and all that, and just keep the dialogue going. Another concern had to do with plastic bags. This has been a topic that's come up before in the city of Moscow, certainly the city of Pullman, and this is the kind of thing you don't want to see, and so that's what people are concerned about. What we did as a commission was reviewed ordinances in other cities. These ranged, of course, from outright bans to incentives to use reusable bags and things like that. This was in early spring of 2016, and you all will remember the no local control came up from Boise, as well as the reminder from the governor that we are indeed creatures of the state. And so at that point, doing anything, sorry, but that was his quote, not mine.
It is.
But anyway, that really steered the conversation away from suggesting anything other than more public education. We do have a commission member. Danielle Gentry is a graduate student, and she's working on her master's project assessing the public perception and feelings of the use of plastic bags, of course, assimilating some of the information about what other cities are doing. So, again, nothing specific coming yet, but it's an ongoing topic. It's one I'm sure anybody in this room knows. There are strong feelings about plastic bags, and so we'll continue to discuss this and at some point perhaps have a recommendation. One area that we're particularly proud of, and this comes from the mayor's office, is the Mayor's Earth Day Awards. Again, the purpose of this is to recognize Moscow residents as well as organizations that conduct activities conducive to environmental sustainability. I'm not going to read all these things. If you live in Moscow, of course, you recognize many of the organizations as well as the individuals. It's a task that we take very seriously and we relish. We are really the clearinghouse for the nominations for people. Not only do we go out and solicit nominations as a commission, but citizens will nominate people with the rationale. We'll collate those, forward them to the mayor's office, and then he will do his thing, which you did. And I wasn't at the council meeting, but I heard it went very well. And so I personally want to thank you, Mayor Lambert, for continuing this tradition. I think these are all worthy organizations and individuals that deserve to be recognized. Lastly, what's next? Farmers Market for us next Saturday. We have a commission table at the Farmers Market. Another example of outreach. We're there just to let the farmer market goers know that we're there, what's a commission, and we can answer questions. We see many, many people that just do not want to come to a 7:15 meeting on a Tuesday, third Tuesday of the month, and we get lots of good ideas. So it's really nice that market goers know there are commissions that citizens can be involved with, and we take their advice, their comments, and just general thoughts and collate them into potential agenda items. With that, I do want to recognize the current members of the commission. As I was talking to Victoria, this thing changes almost monthly, it seems like. We are in a university town, so people come and go, but I do want to thank, I won't name them all again, but I do want to thank the members that do show up. And in particular, I'm quite proud that we have a UI person, Danielle Gentry, as well as a high school student that is on the commission. I also want to recognize Adam Lane. He was the sustainability intern. He has finished his term. Kelly Collins, I believe, is the new intern, and we will meet her tomorrow night at our commission meeting. And lastly, I want to thank Tyler for being our able-bodied staff liaison. Keeps me on the straight and narrow, reminds me to get my agendas in on time, which is always a challenge for me to make that 48-hour notification schedule. And Council Member Art for letting us know what's real and what's not. Yes, we appreciate that, Art. With that, I know you have a busy agenda, so I will wrap it up and ask if you have any questions.
Well, a couple of things, Steve. One is thank you for chairing this commission. This is a wonderful commission, as all of our commissions are. Thank you for chairing it, all the work that all the other commission folks do. But I want to talk just a little bit about plastic bags, being as I was a Safeway guy for decades. It's absolutely amazing how many people use recyclable bags, you know, the cloth bags and other types of things that they carry food and pack food out of. And it's not only Safeway, there's other grocery stores that do that as well. And there's hundreds of people in our town that do that. And so that's a big deal.
It is.
So
I agree.
there's a lot of folks that do that and follow through with that consistently, time after time. So, council have questions for Steve? Thanks for the great report.
You're
Keep
very
up
welcome.
the good work.
It's my pleasure.
Okay.